do a little loop over on the Flago Flats and back on over toward the Ocean Boulevard again. It's very interesting figure eight course, very fairly flat. Provides a few opportunities, but I do think it is going to be a sponge's delight. The only way that we're going to see any kind of breakaway out here today, I believe, is going to be constant, non-stop attacks off the front. Hopefully we see a little bit of action. We'll have to wait and see, though, how Raiders try and play this one out.
Yeah, so as we pick up the action here, a lot of folks joining us for the first time. You're on Watopia. This was the original world of Zwift. This category here, again, we're seeing more and more riders in this A group. So we break it down A, B, C, and D category. There are a few women that have jumped in. I saw that Christy Tracy is here. We'll highlight a few other names to watch here, Nathan. As far as in real life races, I know that Cormac McGee is back. He's with the Wildlife Generation. Mateo Dalcin of the Rally team is with a super strong Canadian. Nathan, you were mentioning he's been an early adopter of Zwift racing. And Spencer Downing, I remember Spencer spending a lot of time on the Cliff Bar team. These are just some of the names that we know from real life. Certainly riders like Ryan Christensen coming from. Nathan, I'm going to throw this one at you. If you don't answer, I understand. But is Canyon considered the strongest team in E-Race? Well, certainly for the women, right? They're one of the teams in that conversation. Another one of the esports teams. I shouldn't even put you on the spot like that, to tell you the truth. But they're one of the really strong esports teams. And Ryan Christensen wasn't he part of the Zwift Academy?
Yeah, I believe Drew Christensen, Ryan Christensen, both of them.
I'm sorry.
Were a part of the Zwift Academy semifinalists or finalists for sure. But
certainly a rider to watch.
Strongest riders out here. The Conti teams here with Canyon DHB are showing up here. It looks like with Patton here as well as Christensen. Ryan Christensen are out on course, so you're watching out for them for sure. They know how to race out on Zwift, mainly because, the other thing is one of the conversations we do have is about the in real life teams, pro teams showing up versus the community teams. But this is a team that's been showing up week in and week out a lot of times in the Zwift season. And so these guys are going to be much more familiar with the racing out on Zwift, knowing the tactics a little bit more than some of the other pro teams that have been showing up as of late just in this season. So interesting to see how this ends up playing out. But as far as the strong riders to be watching out for today, the dropouts have shown up again. And they are out here. Mike Schwartz, I think, is going to be one to watch out for, at least as a team leader there. Not sure that they've got the firepower out there, though, today to try and handle the likes of some of the other riders that are here. Obviously, with indoor specialist Ryan Larson being out there, be watching out for him for sure. Looking through a few more, I think Mateo, with the new team that he's jumped into, Bad News Bears, with Timothy Rugg, actually, this is fresh off the press team right here, the Bad News Bears, and I'd be watching out for them for sure with Mateo Dalcin. I've seen him win many a sprint in I think it's been about 2 years though, maybe, since I've seen him really jump into any of the broadcast races. So watch out for him. I think though, it's going to be interesting to see him jumping back into these races and whether or not coming back into this fold of esports top end Zwift racers. We'll see what he can pull off because in the past, definitely be counting him as a favorite. I don't know though. We'll have to wait and see how things play out with a whole new breed of racers out there now.
So Frank Cundiff there, rider out of Washington, D.C., big part of the USA Prince scene. Big thank you to USA Cycling for their support. I have so much love for what that organization and what they're doing. I saw Don Lasol, who's one of the big players there. USA Cycling is joining us right now. This is it's certainly not going to be replacing USA Cycling. We're working together in this symbiotic relationship, and right now at Zwift, we're really happy to take the lead in allowing folks to get together, and that community that's such a big part of what Zwift is all about is also a big part of USA Cycling. So welcome to everybody who's joining us here. We're in the early going. They're racing today for a little over 29 kilometers, this figure 8 circuit. Nathan, it's flat, it's fast, it's on like Donkey Kong. You're looking at Mateo Dalcin, one of the so Bad News Bears, the BNB team you were just mentioning, they are freshly minted. I learned about them this morning, Nathan. I don't know how long this has been in the works, but they've got some really interesting riders on that squad. They're going to be a big part of the conversation here during the COVID-19 season. and we're just about to kick off. Again, this is not part of the series. This is our pre-season race that we're doing right now. There's Christy Tracy up there. She was also part of the Zwift Academy. She made it down to the final few riders there. She's a rider out of Texas that has just returning from a fractured hip. It's really good to see her back. She really does the work, no doubt about it. So we're looking at Christy Tracy right here. You can look at her numbers and see that she's making over 4 watts per kilo right now. Christy, good to see you back here. Good to see you in the A's as well. She's a brave lady. So certainly a rider to be watching for in the front end of the group. Nathan, we always wonder about tactics. Is that not the conversation that you have in every single race, whether it's out on Watopia or in real life, is how is this going to play out? 30K. There's some riders that are going to make this rough for the sprinters here as we get the gravel sector.
Looking through Christy Tracy's results, actually, 2017 12-hour TT World Champion, received 2017 12-hour TT US National Champion as well as the USA Cycling Master National Champion. So Christy Tracy, obviously extremely strong rider. One other thing that I just picked up on is that Christy looks to be a recent pickup by the Infinite presented by Saris team, actually, which came out of the Team Fearless team that recently got launched here. This has just been an announcement this past week, so really good to see that Christy was picked up by that squad. Anna Russell's in there, Carolyn Murray, as well as Jasmine Welter. Jennifer Rio leading the charge, actually coming on over from Team Fearless and launching this team out of Team Fearless in conjunction, it looks like, with obviously the Saris brand. I think indoor specialists are part of all that as well. So really cool to have them bring in this women's squad kind of a thing going on here. And the cool thing is they have this Saris kit already in game, so real easy way to get a kit in game and be able to launch that. We also see Megan Rathwell as well as Polly Mason on this team with Christy. So Christy out there representing that newly formed Team Infinite that has launched out of the Team Fearless and has branched off into the world of esports. Now we do have some obvious attacks with the front end here going on. Gleason here as well. Here's Mateo Dalcin actually is going along with it. It does look like Innovation for Human is there. Podline is there. Watch out for Podsy. Always a strong one in the sprint. On the Sprinter's Delight Day. But I just noticed Luke G is out here though. Luke G from the Dropouts. This boy is non-stop and showing up here. Watch out for the Canadian because he has been almost unstoppable when it's his turn to go. This team here, when it's time to work for a specific individual, they know how to do it. And I think Luke G might be their favorite on the day.
Yeah, Shield Bolt, as we talk, the Canadian that you're talking about there. Nathan, he is one of the most recognizable riders. He's always up on the front. In the last month of watching extensive amounts of esports racing, I've really identified him as one of the key players. A lot of things will pivot off of Luke. You can see him right there as another surge coming. But that Dropouts team is absolutely a squad to be watching out here as well. We're starting to highlight the teams. You're starting to learn about some of the riders. A little bit of a surge going as two riders coming together on the front. I wanted to give a shout out to John Gatch watching from Cincinnati. John was the first person, Nathan, that I ever met who Zwifted. I was like walked into his basement 4 or 5 years ago. It's like, what is going on here? So John, good to have you. John was asking about co-ed racing, and I'm going to keep working through Swift Power here because there are multiple women in this A race, and I think a couple of them, as you noted, Nathan, are still up in the front group, but it's turning into a chase group now. It's Verhoeven here who's going to be, he's got some company. Let's see. These two are going to work together. Gap just a couple of seconds right now, pretty tenuous here. Peloton surging will bring them back as we make our way. My favorite parts of the course. Right there.
We do
that
have
reminds me of being in the canyons.
First Watopia climb, very difficult climb. For the men, it's going to be about I'd say if they go all out, we can look at the 340 perhaps. Take 20 seconds off and all out 4-minute effort to the top. So with the drafting, it is very sharp up front. If we hit this 4%, it's going to get up into about almost 10% gradient at some point. And then it's going to level off a couple of times, a couple of bumps until they hit the final kick to the top. It's going to be all guns blazing though. With the sub 4-minute KOM most likely. Gavin Dempster here, the winner in London a couple years back in the in real life tax event, making his way to the front now, pushing the pace, 9 watts per kilometer, shut that gap down. The Mateo for Hubin did great. Ryan Christensen there on the wheel. It looks like Pods there holding on. It looks like Luke G. Larson, the two indoor specialist boys working together in the orange and light blue now, as you can see, on their Blutron bikes. Nice little kit set up there that they're showing off in game. Alex Patton is there as well as Mateo coming from Vision. Mike Schwartz now coming from the Dropouts team, taking up the back of the pack here, and then it's going to be, looks like the Wildlife Generation here. Mikhail here now is making a move. as
Sure is.
he's holding on here. It looks like, and I think I don't think he's under any duress really, and maybe just holding smart at this point. Make sure that he makes his break because this looks like it's going to be the deciding moments out on course.
Super strong rider out of Durango, Colorado, on that Wildlife Generation team, Cormac McGeough. He holds an Irish passport. He's been living in Durango for quite a while. He's really embraced this esports racing with obviously no season happening. That team finished their first race over in Malaysia at Tour of Langkawi. They had some success over there, and then we shut everything down and moved it over here to Zwift. So Cormac McGeough, always going to be a rider to watch. We were talking about him, Matteo Dalcin as well. Matteo rode for Gord Fraser's Silver team, which was the Canadian national team for a while there. They wore an orange jersey and were well represented in all of the North American racing. He's now wearing another orange jersey on the Rally team, one of the better known teams racing in North America over the last decade. And Matteo Dalcin is a huge talent. This young Canadian absolutely has all the benchmarks that you look for in a World Tour rider. He's on his way up, trending in the right direction, as they say, Nathan. So as we're watching him on his BNB team, Bad News Bears, brand new squad here, and they are coming up quickly on 1/3 of the way in. You can see how quick, maybe I was a little bit, not quite as quick as I thought it was going to be, Nathan. I had them with a little bit quicker ETA, but I'm always ambitious, right? I always like the train to get in early.
Looking through here, and it looks like Van Heusen here from the dropouts here, making a move off the front now. And this may be softening up the legs to work forward. Luke GM. Maybe a little bit of assumption there, but I have a feeling this is a move from Schwartz now trying to go across, actually. So they're trying to put two into a breakaway, it looks like here. And it does seem that Matteo here now is going to be the workhorse on the front for the Bad News Bears. Make sure this doesn't go anywhere. Larry Park is right along with it. It looks like Podsy now is able to hold on. Vision there just hanging about mid-pack here. Couple falling off the back, though. Obviously, this is a very strong attack because look at how it's doing the damage at the back here. It does look a few now starting to fall off the back. This main pack here, Pat here, just hanging on. It looks like Dempster in trouble. This is not a rider you'd expect to be in any sort of trouble here. Trying to get back on turn. 7.6, maybe just a little bit of lack of concentration. 7 watts per kilogram here coming from Gavin Dempster. He needs to close this down right now as Smith, as you can see, done and dusted. A race of meters, shuts it down 1.6 as he needs to bring that heart rate right on down. Dempster just clawing his way back on. And this is the main group that's been split here at this point on that reverse Latopian climb. We're going to be heading on over toward the Ocean Boulevard with a right-hand turn, I believe, and then it's going to be a left into Fuego Flats, I believe. I have to double check that. It may be reverse of Fuego, but I think that we're going to be taking Ocean Boulevard on over toward the climbing to Sequoia. It's a pretty cool little figure eight.
You're watching Dempster rejoining. I mean, this is literally like being in the slipstream of a semi or not. Remember Dave Stoller and breaking away. He's got to get up and close that gap down. It's going to make a huge difference here. Every second matters now, and then he's done a good job. Dempster is back up into that group. It's a 30% difference when you're sitting in the draft or not. You can see how they've really whittled this one down. Again, we're watching the A field. There's an A, B, C, and D group. They started at 1 minute intervals as they take that hard right turn. We got to look at the group on the side there. Swart still there. I believe Swart just moving over to that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he is on the new BNB team as well. Let's take some inventory here, Nathan. As we look around in this group, this is the selection. Is there 11K into? Let's go with 30K for our race distance here. Right. So.
Left-hand turn now, Fuego Flats here, and then we're going to head on over toward the KOM for a moment, but then it'll be a right-hand turn back into Ocean Boulevard. So, and then it's going to be uphill toward the finish. Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, if we get a breakaway going here, how many guys need to be in it to have any kind of a chance? I was thinking to myself that without 3, you have no chance. Probably the magic number is 4 in this small group here. I mean, if you don't want to sprint, and that's another thing I was recommending, Nathan, that people go to swiftpower.com, find the event. You can look at the numbers that these guys can make. It's really great information to look at as we're watching the race. You can get a feel for maybe who would not want to sprint out of this group. And is this Swart going up the road now? It certainly is. Let's see if he's going to bring anybody with him. Cormac McGeough went on 3 attacks when we were watching him racing yesterday. Baby Verhoeven, who's been very active.
Yeah, looking through here, I think that you're correct 100% that it's going to need to be at least 3 riders. 2 riders just cannot get it done against this large of a field. If it was a little bit smaller field, perhaps 2 riders could make it happen. There's just a little bit too much firepower in here. But if you do get 3 riders away, you could be able to make something happen. We're going to get some chatter coming through here. Good to see James Hodges hanging out in the broadcast. As always, the man behind Swift Power. He's saying, Dempster likely got caught on Smith's wheel as he slowed. Always pay attention. And that's 100%. That is a very great call out, actually. And that's probably what happened. Sitting at the back of the pack there was assuming that Smith was going to be able to sit on the wheel still and had the power to give, but did not. And Dempster had to come over the top and close that down. Dempster being an extremely strong rider, though maybe it was risky, but easily brought that back together here. So I'd still be watching out for him in the final sprint. I would not be surprised with the top 5 minimum from Dempster. But with the new blood here coming in, BNB here, Bad News Bears as well as with Mateo Del Cid jumping into the mix now here. And it's pretty cool to see. We are starting to see this pickup of the North American riders a little bit more right now that would otherwise be racing out on the circuit here in North America with the USA Cycling races, at the top end, UCI, some continental teams. We're seeing them jumping into these main races over and over again now. So it's really cool to see them picking up on the Swift racing and using the fitness that they've obviously built up that was going to be used in real life to jump into these Swift races and start competing. So really cool to see and excited to welcome all of these riders now. Some of them though a little bit more familiar with it as Christensen and we're seeing Alex Patton are in their evening there over there in the UK, getting a little bit of international rivalries going as well as we usually do.
This one is all over the shop right now. Take a look at the front of this group. Multiple splits happening. This is a tough moment. You got to weld these gaps back together, Nathan. Sometimes, as you know, it's not you letting that gap open. It's the rider 2 or 3 wheels ahead of you.
I watched the kilogram, Mateo.
Look at these numbers. All right, Mateo Dacin is going nuclear right now. This man is throwing another log on the fire. So we talked about, you were just mentioning, in real life races making a difference. This man is making a mark right now. So we are just about to hit the halfway point. Mateo Dacin, the Canadian strongman, is absolutely surging here, Nathan. What is this going to do to the group? This should blow things up.
And he actually timed this extremely perfectly because there was a couple of attacks prior to this. Up in that 6.5, 6.1, keeping the pace really high. And you could see that it was starting to get strung out behind. People were not bunched up in the pack. It was definitely not hand-holding time. And because of that echelon that started to straighten out there, he saw the last of the snapping, and boom, he hit it hard, seeing the opportunity. He needs somebody to come across, and that's exactly what's happening here. Ryan Larson, 8.1 watts per kilogram is the speed pickup. But at a negative 1% gradient, the speeds are going to get high, but the rest of the pack's going to do a little bit extra draft here. So it does look like Verhoeven's coming across here, but the pace is so crazy that the little gaps here between the riders are causing damage, and it looks like we will start to form a main group here of about 7 riders. Mateo's got to continue on, though. Not slow down here at this point. See, riders now, if they slow down too much, they're looking for wheels, and from there, riders like Luke Jean will be able to come back, but this is interesting to see. Not usual that Luke Jean would be off the back. This must be insane, the kind of pace that's being set. Suffering is real. 177 beats per minute. Luke coming over the top with 8 watts per kilogram. It looks like Luke maybe was waiting there to go into those orange numbers to make sure he doesn't drag anybody with him, but the speeds were just a little bit too high. He ended up doing just that. It does look like, though, Gleason, along with Chico, they're making these perfect tactical moves, allowing the riders to split up just enough where they can attack in the orange numbers and try and drop anybody on the wheel. It's almost like they're creating their own burrito power-ups, but by doing it with this very tactical riding right now with these crazy high speeds and 8 watts, 9 watts per kilogram attacks to try and break anybody off the wheel. But it's happening at every point of the pack here. Never seen anything like it before, really, in Swift racing. This is tactics at best in Swift racing.
This is a new era. This is what racing is going to be like from here going forward. Incredibly aggressive. This is outstanding what is happening here. Normally, if you just rolled out 45, 50 A racers on a 30K course, to get this kind of separation is unimaginable. These guys are at each other's throats out here. Zwart has been there. The Flying Dutchman, Verhoeven, has been super impressive out of this group. Mateo Dacin, he lit the fuse. We're going to find out if he's the bomb as well, because somebody's going to have to finish this. We're down 3 the midpoint here is this part of the course. Again, it looks like we got Zwart making another surge. So it's been rider after rider.
Here we go, and I'm actually being told here by Timothy Buck, who I believe is the organizer of the Bad News Bears, saying Cormac is also BMB team member. He'll figure it out just his name soon with a little laughing face. All right, good to see. Love the emojis there, Rug. So it looks like Bad News Bears got quite a few in the mix here to try and make something happen. And they're sending boys off the front, left, and right here. So interesting to see the tactics play out with so many teams. And what I like about this is a different kind of racing. You know, okay. Dave, you've commentated on a lot of North American races. You've watched a lot of races European as well. You know, and I've heard it said that the kind of you get North American racing tends to be really punchy. I don't know if that's absolutely true or not, but I've heard it said. You know, I haven't been in the road scene majorly in North America, but there's a lot of crits. There's a lot of crit racing, obviously. There's a huge focusing on that. We don't have quite as much of this long scratch racing. You know, Redlands, obviously, but it's really, and a few races like that, but really, it's really focused on inner city. A lot of times, big
Criterium
crits.
racing is king in the U.S.
And I'm seeing a different kind of racing go on here. I'm seeing this like, these boys just want to punch.
This is not how you race a criterium. It's not. This is a strongman slugfest that we're looking at right now. Nathan, you're absolutely right. There's not a lot of stage racing left in the United States. I mean, this would have been this month when you have Joe Martin, Redlands in your Gila. That's the sweet spot for sure. But no, this style of racing is something very, very unique. This is Swift racing, esports that we're looking at here. Because, yeah, in American criterium racing, you have a lot of riders who, let's say that they're going to be doing 70 minutes, 75 minutes of racing. You're going to see a lot of riders hitting out with no real intention, or there's no purpose behind it. That was something that Alex Candelario, a great American sprinter, used to always talk about when the Europeans would come over for Tour of California. When they would hit out, it was for a reason. There was an objective for doing it, whether it was softening up the groove. And I mean, right now, I would say that this Bad News Bears team and the Dropouts team are doing exactly that. They have intention behind the action. They're softening up the groove. And that's some great racing that we're looking at. But yeah, I think that this is extremely unique to what we're looking at. I mean, they whittled this group down. Nathan, we've got one rider off the front. I think, again, it's going to be Bad News Bears. Dallas Stanton, we've talked a lot about him. He comes in with a real race pedigree in real life. But now he also is one of these guys that's been an early adapter of racing here on Zwift. And Dallas Stanton is always going to get a lot of attention. So coming up on 20K in, I should say really coming on 18.5K in, 30 kilometers of racing. Our friends at USA Cycling, I love it. Everybody who's joining us, I hope that we can be back out there with all of our friends from that family soon. But for now, here's a great way to gather. Nathan, we're getting down to it. The business end is coming up quickly. We've got a solo rider off the front, but not anymore. They've reset this one. Hit the reset button.
Look at the damage here, though, Dave, at the back. Look at this. These are some serious spaces. On a flat course like this, usually it's bunched up. Usually it's this kind of hand holding. Yes, there'll be some pressure at the front, 5-6 watts per kilogram for a moment, but these have been non-stop orange numbers off the front and hold. Orange numbers off the front. They continue to haymaker after haymaker here. It's either the dropouts or the Bad News Bears have been off the front over and over again. The funny thing is, they all pick the green jersey. So it's going to be the green jersey over and over again off the front. We'll have to get some, you have to look on the right-hand side of the screen, guys, in order to see who is from which team some of the time here. But it doesn't look like Van Heusen does get back on terms. Dempster continues to follow the wheels. Interested to see the setup that Dempster has chosen. He's in the Mellenstein with a specialized tarmac, it looks like, which is most likely not going to be the fastest turn of speed. And there's no climbing out here. It's one of the lighter bikes out on Zwift, but I'm not sure it's going to be an advantage to him though out here today in the sprint. But Schwartz, BMB, send another one off the front. Dawson, now Schwartz.
People might wonder, Nathan, quick question for you here. Schwartz's bike is not a Tron bike. How much of a disadvantage is he at not having that faster bike? There's a lot of questions in people's minds out here. I've been sending people to Zwift Power, but that won't answer this question. What's the difference?
Yeah, so Zwift Insider does an amazing job of every time there's new equipment, they go out and they do tests on all of the bikes, all of the equipment, and then they actually have an entire list of which bikes are the best on which courses, what kind of times they had on which courses, and actually the Tron bike is not the fastest bike in game. After all the tests, the Tron, which I find a little odd because how much work has to go into getting the Tron bike. I feel like it should be the biggest reward, but the fastest bike for a flat like this right now would be the Specialized Tarmac with 808 dish in the back. That's the absolute fastest. From there, though, there's little changes all the way down. Mellenstein's, I believe, on a Honda, I want to say. No, I'm sorry. It's another Specialized, I believe, for climbing. But so, anyways, between them, go to Swift Insider. I probably in my memory got it all wrong right this second as far as exactly which model. But definitely Mellenstein's as far as wheels make the biggest difference. Actually, not always the frame. The frames do make a difference, but it's not always the frames. Necessarily, it's more about the wheels a lot of times, which is kind of like in real life racing. A lot of times, it's more about the turnover speed of that rotational weight as well as the weight that's coming up over the top with you, whether or not it's aerodynamic. Go and check out those Swift Insider, and you can read through all the stats. They're done every time there's an update on any of the equipment, on what's the fastest on the flats, what's the fastest on the climbing course. And then you kind of have to make up your mind yourself, though, because where are you going to try and excel in a race is also going to be a thing. Because these tests are just done at, here, set it at 300 watts and see what's the fastest. Set it at 350 and see what's the fastest. And go on this course. But where are you going to put 8 watts per kilogram down? That's going to be the question, right? And where are you going to get the most advantage? On a climb or on a flat? What's your specialty? So you got to kind of choose your equipment then based on where you're going to put the power down and get the speed. Reducing attack, though, speaking of speed, here, Dempster's already out the back. It's 2 seconds, actually. Who made this happen? Because there was a slingshot coming on through. It was actually Luke G and Pat here coming from Canyon DHB. And Ponzi's there as well. Parker from IS, but it does get shut down as we're heading into the final few K. We've got less than 10K to go. They're going to head through this back end side of Fuego Flats, and then it's going to be on over toward the Seward Titans Grove, and then into Ocean Boulevard, and then to the sprint section again.
Who is the best sprinter left in the group that we've got in the middle of our screen right now? I know a lot of guys would like to throw their hand in the air and say me. We're going to find out. They have made it a rugged ride at this point. Nathan, I always feel like you're kind of going from Death Valley to Palmdale through this part of the course here. It's been tough, no doubt about it. These guys have never backed off. I see Cormac McGee is still so a lot of the guys that we expected are still in this group. And, and Nathan, if you haven't been dropped now, I tip my hat to you because I think you're going to make it at this point. If you're riding in what I'd call Group 1, I think at this point they've made enough attempts to try to shed riders out the back. They have punched many tickets out here, but we're down to about 8.5 kilometers of racing until we've got the finish line for this group. Our A's, the B's started a minute behind, the C's a minute behind them, and the D's out there as well. So we'll pick them up as soon as we can after we get this start from Nathan. These guys are coming in hot right now.
It's going to be a right-hand turn, and there's going to be one more climb now. Well, there's this climb, which is a little bit longer. It's probably about 1.5 to 2 minute climb. They're going to head into Titans Grove, but they're going to take a right-hand turn. This next section is very dangerous. It is well known that the left-hand turn into the downhill may not have as much draft as usual. I have been on a ride over and over again. Look, this is exactly what we were thinking here. Schwartz here for BMB goes to the front. This is the last opportunity. There's one more opportunity leaving Ocean Boulevard, but the reality is that it's so close to the sprint that it's essentially just a double kick because it's less than a K to go or so to the finish line. So this is the last chance with an uphill. Tail down in, BMB on the front. Patton now shuts it down. The left-hand turn, though, if they get a gap, leaving Titans Grove into the split of the Epic KOM and Ocean Boulevard, that downhill is very dangerous. It's almost impossible to find the draft through it if anybody's pressing the pace here. And it looks like it's going to be Cormac now in the front here with Schwartz going alongside him. 2 riders. Dempster not going with it. Orange numbers, 183 beats per minute now at this point here. Wildlife Generation absolutely demolishing right now. It looks like we're Schwartz at the drop of 170 beats per minute. This is a serious attack. 3 seconds. Left-hand turn. Will they be able to hold on to this gap, though? It's going to have to go all the way to the line because it's about 5K or so. Everything all in TT. They do have the advantage that it's dropouts and B&B that are off the front here. Schwartz got to hold on. This is what I was talking about. Look at the gap go out. Even though Schwartz is within about 5 meters, it continues to go out because of the raw wattage. It's hard to find any kind of draft through this section for some reason.
Wow.
You see the riders behind here trying to work together here. They are pushing 56 kilometers per hour. They got to continue on, though. 56 here coming from McGill. It does look like he's going to be able to hold on to this here. Ryan Larson on the front now, 55. They're matching. They're doing better than the speed, and it's still about speed out on the. They have to continue on, though, and not slow down. Patton on the front at 2.5. It looks like the dropouts here. Are they chasing the old man down? No, they're going to force Christensen to do
they're not.
as well as Podsy and indoor specialists trying to win their own race. They got a gap. Now they have to stick it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bike Racing 101, your online class on how to win a bike race on Zwift. These guys are pouring it on. That gap, it had gone out to about 7 seconds, although it might be coming back a little bit right now. How do you put pressure on the other teams? Exactly this, because again, you might be thinking, well, Cormac McGeo's riding for Wildlife Generation. That's the team he rides for on the road, but here he's with B&B. We have the unfortunate situation of the teams are wearing the same jersey out here, the different teams, green jersey. So the two biggest teams, as Nathan mentioned, or the two, I would say, the teams that have been animating this race are both representing that breakaway, but that aerial shot gives you a very good look at this attentive group. It went from being Group 1 to the chase group, and I think it's going to go back to
Somebody's
Group
going
1.
across. Who's that trying to go across? It looks like it's going to be Schwartz. No, Podsy's trying to go across. Podsy's trying to go across. Schwartz dropped back. It looks like McGill's gonna have another one come across. He's pushing 6'2". He will not give up. Fitzpatrick's trying to go across now as well. They're trusting the Wildlife Generation team member to hold this. Excuse me, B&B. He's riding for B&B. In real life, he's also riding for Wildlife Generation. In game, I'm seeing Wildlife Generation, so I keep calling that out. But the B&B rider, though, it looks like with the dropout, still trying to continue on. He does get caught, but it does not look like he's giving up. They could continue to make a split, but they have to attack out of this speed. They've got to hold that 60K per hour or so and get a few more to drop out. Luke T might come on through. Indoor Specialist are one of the others here at this point. They do have an opportunity to counterattack as they hit this flatter section with a whole lot of speed to slingshot off the front. Will they do so? And it looks like Schwartz is doing just that. B&B on the front now, 7 watts per kilogram. He's got Luke G on his wheel. Matt Teo down sin. Can he break them off? They're dragging the peloton along with them, though. All they got to put out is 4.6 to hand. They have to snap it right now, or they will get advantage hanging onto the wheels.
Okay, 3K to go, basically. This is all in time now. The horses are galloping, no doubt about it. They can smell the barn. Nathan, what I love about Cormac McGeo here that really impressed me is the fact that after he makes these big efforts, he's able to hang right in there. He doesn't go to the back of the group, so he's really keeping his head above water. There's Luke G, the Canadian, who's also now emerging here. Mateo Dalcin has remained up near the front. Heavy hitters only need apply. Let's see who this is. Is this Van Huysen coming back into the group? It looks like it is, trying to chase back into the group, but I think he's going to make it, Nathan. I'm not sure what happened there, but again, one moment's inattention, you find yourself coming out of this group. These guys have got the accelerator down on the floorboard now. It looks like we're going to see about 20 riders sprinting here. Oh, McGeo
goes again, and he's got 2 seconds, and I think he might have broken them this time, because Christensen's got 3.5. Luke G here goes to the front, the dropouts point, but he can't close it down. 8 watts per choreograph coming from Corey McGill. B&B looking to try and win this. Mateo Dalcin sitting in. He's not going to close that down. His teammates off the front. Schwartz now, after that counterattack, launches Corey McGill off the front, and he's going to maybe take this 6 seconds. If he gets out to 15, said and done, but not a lot of landscape to work with. Will they keep him within sight?
Boy, Cormac McGeo has now been in the bank. He got all of the money. He got in the getaway car, and now he is hightailing his way to the finish line. I think he's going to do it, Nathan. I know I love to believe in these solo breakaways. This young man who's up in Durango, Colorado right now, absolutely bearing himself. That gap has gone out to almost 10 seconds. I think this is the race-winning move. This is a command performance. I salute you. Win, lose, or draw. This is how you do it.
Though, Dave. There's a punch right here. He's got to hold 7, 8 over the top, because they're going to be coming at 10. It's the first sprint before the real sprint. It always happens on this section, of course, here. Pat Metz in the front. Patton's trusting that this little uphill is going to be it for him to bring this back. Fitzpatrick goes now as well. Christensen's there. Will Christensen be able to make this happen to close this down? Wildlife, oh my gosh. Warwick is holding on to a gap, but there's 7 seconds, 10 watts per kilogram. The pack is coming on. It's the usual. Will he hold on to the line? 5.8, but Christensen's holding 10. He's trying to close it down. Will it happen, Dave?
Cormac McGeo must feel like he's passing facing a kidney stone right now. I can only imagine the amount of pain that this man is in. He's not quite going to make it. It looks like Christensen is closing this down. What a brave attack, but the gap is now closed down. We've got a whole new bike race up the front. They're down to half a kilometer of racing here, Nathan. This is the best finale we've seen all week in esports.
Oh, and this is the two kicker I was talking about. It's always so difficult through here because you have to kick out of Ocean Boulevard. The whole pack becomes every man for himself. It's haymaker after haymaker just holding on. Everybody's heart rates are just skyrocketing. It's not a traditional sprint. You can't just sit in. It's hold on, kick once, kick twice, try and get across gaps. Christensen created this gap, but now it's almost too much. He went all in on it, and he's going to get caught with like 300 to go. Here's the pack bringing it in. B&B, Schwartz, Van Heusen now leading things out. It's going to be the dropouts of B&B, going to be the Leo Train, but Ponceline goes. He knows he doesn't have a wheel to work with. He's got no teammates, so he leads it out. Ponzi here, 8.2. Initial kick, but that's not all of it. Where's he going to go again? Gavin Dexter!